Welcome in, Juanita. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. Sorry, I was grabbing my coffee. I have been being tested, let's just say that much. How are you? It's that picture of that old, worn out, burnt out owl with his glasses on crooked. If you've ever seen the picture, if you know, you know. That's the way I'm feeling right now. Welcome in, Emma. Welcome in, Random. Welcome in, Sherry. So, it's Spiritual Gifts 101 tonight. That's the conversation we're going to be having for the evening. This isn't a card reading night, okay? So if you're looking for questions being answered, no. Tonight is strictly speaking about spiritual gifts, whether or not you think you have them or not, how to verify that, and how can you learn to understand them. Now, this is basing it on your own intuitive abilities. This isn't going to be basing it off of any book. Because one thing might say one thing to one person, but it might say something else to another. So it's all based on your own interpretation. Now, people want me to talk about spiritual gifts. Alessa, you know what? We're all going through it. You're not alone, okay? You're not alone. One of the biggest lessons that I learned in my life is some of the people that are in your life are karmic. All right? Some of the people in your life are meant to be there to make you realize of what you're standing for, to make you stand. And if you don't stand, if you don't show up, then I guess it's a missed opportunity. Exactly, Lone Wolf. Hurrah! Car Guru, welcome in. So, yeah, spiritual gifts. How do you know you have them? Usually they'll show themselves to you. Usually they will present themselves to you in a way that is unquestionable. But you're still sitting there taking a step back and you're doing a double take and you're like, did that actually just happen? And you're wondering whether or not it was a coincidence. And you sit there and question yourself to whether or not you have this gift, whether or not you have this said feeling or hunch or notion or energetic download. A lot of messages that come through energy. Okay? And just as love, using it as a vibration, okay, there's different forms of love. Okay, there's a platonic, brotherly, sisterly love, familial love, and then there's a more intimate love that you would have with a partner or soulmate. Okay? Just as that love in particular has an intention. Okay, so does your energy, so does your gift. And it comes back to intention. It comes back to life experience. What have you gone through in your life? What are your trials and tribulations that have brought you to the point where you've had to open up your mind enough to have these other senses become available? And this is like Lone Wolf said, like you know, they present themselves as as absolute. I know I do. It's why I stay to myself, because I got tired of people telling me what I am. I know what I am. Yeah. And this is the whole thing about that inner journey. Everybody's looking outside of themselves for the answers, and they're not going to find them. You're looking into a book. You're looking into a bunch of other people's opinions of it all. This is about your own inner journey that you take on your own. Right? This is how you perceive yourself through the experience of your reality, of what you've learned through your reality. Okay? So when you're looking at your gifts, these are gifts that are being brought to you through understanding. Thanks, Jay. When you're looking at the grand scheme of things, okay, uh, we're all brought here to the earth in this moment in time for a purpose. There's a reason for our being here. And 9 times out of 10, we've forgotten that reason. It's part of the journey. It's part of the experience. Okay? Because we are a spiritual being having a human experience. And we're brought here to learn that. And when you open yourself up to your senses, and I'm saying just your five senses, the ability to see, the ability to hear, the ability to smell, the ability, all your gifts are integrated within that. Okay? Every sense that you have, right down to your imagination and consciousness, and your deep all-knowing. We, as individuals, each have one. It's depending on the intention throughout our life as to whether or not we are going to connect and resonate with that or not. King, can you go scratch somewhere else, please? I'm live right now. It would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, boss. I appreciate you too. No, hey. Sassy bastard. King the cat trying to scratch on his cat tree, and yeah. Where's the 5 senses? Where's the 5 senses? How about the six senses, right? Can you see? Can you smell? Can you hear? Can you touch? Can you feel? Now you're just trolling, Don. Come on, get with the program, okay? If you can't follow along, then I don't know if the 101 is ready for you. The mass majority of us question whether or not we have gifts to start with, okay? And then we're left throughout our whole life wondering whether or not this is actually legitimate. And the only thing that we have to go on is our own experience. The divine continuously shows up in your life to provide you with messages, to provide you with information and energy downloads, feelings, things you can't necessarily put into words. There's been hunches that you've had that had you not listened to those hunches, you would not be alive right now. And there's specifically reason for that. Okay? Ultimately, when you're looking at life and you're looking at your experience and your purpose and your destiny, what resonates with you? What are you more attracted to? What are you more energetically in line with as far as the purpose? Some of us are carpenters, some of us are cooks, some of us are cleaners and organizers, some of us are builders, some of us are have many other different talents and other gifts. Okay? So whether or not you have a spiritual gift specifically or a physical talent gift, such as, we all have something to offer, we all have something to show up with. Okay, so this doesn't mean, just to start with, is whether or not you have a gift or not, that you're not special. This is to nip that right in the butt, that each and every single one of us has a quality, a talent, a expertise of something that we can offer the world. So when you're actually looking at the ability to have a gift, actually acknowledging those gifts and creating a situation of understanding those gifts and showing up for those gifts give back. Those gifts might save your life. Those gifts might save someone else's life. And it tends to attach itself to your greater purpose. But a lot of it has to do with your own inner confidence of what you connect with, what you resonate with. And this is why I've been on here talking about healing, talking about dealing with your past shit, and getting up and over top of that and getting through that. Okay? And depending on the situation, some people can see beyond the veil, some people can't. That's okay. But these people, which I'm going to get into the next topic, people, trying to think that they can steal gifts from other people. That's kind of like saying, you know what, I want to steal your left arm. I'm going to just steal your left arm and I'm going to switch it with mine. Heaven forbid you've had an accident, but it's literally like trading out a limb. When you have your own limb, okay, every person is energetically synced up with these abilities of consciousness, these abilities to manifest and connect to spirit in such a way that will benefit either their own life or the people around them. It is what makes us energetic connectors to the consciousness that's currently around us. When you're looking at the ability to connect to the other side, okay, you're connecting to those energetic energies of that soul. That soul, it doesn't die. It has a DNA imprint that travels, and it creates and it processes and it experiences many different lifetimes in order to bring that awareness, experience, enlightenment back to source consciousness, where that all in knowing resides. This is our full and true first indication of purpose for ourselves being a species, with the consciousness, the creativity, the intuition, and the structures within our DNA and physical abilities as a human being, as our own species, This is our purpose. We've been duped. We've been lied to. We've been made to be put out as a puppet. Okay? And we've been made to play these stupid games, play these stupid parts. And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about if you feel empty inside. Feeling like there's got to be more to life than this. There's got to be more to my purpose. There's got to be more to this than what I'm actually experiencing right now. This is like low vibing, low energy bullshit, and I want to be up here with my energy. I want to have purpose. I want to have destiny. I want to have that into my life. I want to have that integrated. And the whole thing is that every one of us are looking outside of ourself to balance that energy, and we got to look within ourselves first and foremost. Lone Wolf brought up a pretty good point again, that our purpose is to bring balance to the imbalanced world. Energy can be balanced when they understand they are made of energy. Yes, we are all beacons of light. We are all beacons of energy. We radiate energy. And we are the creators of that intention behind that energy. If we're constantly in a victim mentality, constantly bleeding out and projecting our bullshit out onto everybody else, that's not helping the situation. That's not helping to balance out the life that we're looking to have here on Earth. It's one thing to express yourself in a way to say, look, I'm hurting. I'm going through something. I'm having a hard time right now. You know, I wonder if you can relate to me. Then, blah, 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 blah. My life sucks. Blah, 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 down the line. Projecting is one thing, communicating is another. I had a lady over on Facebook message me saying something, commenting on my comment on one of my posts there that I commented on. And it's about, you know, good or bad, the situation doesn't matter what it is. It's what you bring from it. It's what you learn from it. It's how you move on in intention from that experience that matters. Okay, are you just going to apologize and move on and just not change anything? Or are you going to actually apologize and actually change something and be aware of your actions in order to not do that again, to hurt other people? Because when you're bleeding all over everyone, this is a beacon of negativity. Exactly, Lone. Exactly. And they don't even understand what it is that they're doing, and they wonder why their life is shit. Okay? Now I'm going to come back to the ability to steal someone else's gifts. I'll tell you right now, the divine is the one in the indicator on who receives their gifts, on when they are activated, when they are provided for, when they are, bestowed upon you. The divine is all in dealing with that. There's nothing above or below the divine. Okay, there's nothing else there that is going to distinguish whether or not the divine will do or not do something. If the divine knows that you are pure of heart and that you are able to, and that you are going to be in alignment with this energy, with this gift, with this particular ability, it will anoint you with that ability. Okay? But if it doesn't feel that you are ready for it, yeah, you know what? Maybe it will give you that ability to experience it, but not to the fullest velocity. Maybe they'll put a governor or training wheels or something on it. maybe an autopilot, to where it only goes to a certain amount of degree of influence. Now, these idiotic imbeciles that think that they're going to go ahead and steal gifts from other people, okay, they're dumb. They're literally dumb because they envy other people's gifts. Now, in order for me to get gifts that I got, I wouldn't wish that on even my worst enemy. People want to be envious, they want to be me, they want to be in my shoes. They couldn't last 10 fucking minutes in my shoes with what I've experienced. Okay? It wasn't just once, twice, or 3 times that I've been close to death. It's been multiple times that I've been close to death. And I'm still here. Would I wish that on my enemy? No. So if you want to try and get my gifts, you want to try black magic or dark energy or whatever the case may be to try to steal my gifts, you're you're literally beating a dead horse. Because I'll tell you right now, the divine's got a sense of humor. Okay? And spirit and the divine's been wanting me to speak on this for quite a while. And all thanks to one of my top VIP mods here, that she's here tonight, Juanita. She's kind of inspired me to do this kind of um, live. So this is what I'm doing. The ability for a gift, okay, to be bestowed upon you, okay, there needs to be reason. There needs to be purpose. Okay, and usually we are brought through to that purpose due to the experiences that we have in our life. Okay, it is there to protect us. It is there to help us see the truth. It is there to remove the veil. Okay, it is there to bring clarity. It is there to bring protection. This isn't something that you use to manipulate people. This isn't something that you use to sabotage people. This isn't something that you use at the whim of your finger for just anything without taking any accountability for it. And when you go to try to steal gifts, okay, the divine has a sense of humor. Okay? They will give you a mock version of that supposed gift that you're trying to steal. And I'm going to let you know something. This mock gift has a catch. This is the divine finding out whether or not you can actually take on this gift and you can actually change your life in a better intention than what you would without it. However, the aspect in which you're actually stealing this gift and you are getting this mock aspect of this gift, it has triple the karma. Because you're stealing the supposed gift from someone else. And you're not putting in your own work to gain your own gifts, to gain your own abilities. You're not putting in the sacrifice, your own personal sacrifice and tribulation in order to receive your own. Every single one of us has abilities. Every single one of us has the ability to get in touch with those abilities. Belief gives it power, ultimately, when you're looking at it. Okay? And it's usually something that resonates with us already, whether or not it be sight, vision, whether it be dreaming, whether it be hearing dead people, whether it be seeing dead people, whether it be seeing shadows, having the ability to look beyond the veil and see other life forms at different vibrations of energy. There are certain energetic vibrations that you need to raise your energy to Otherwise, you cannot be in vibrational connection with them. This is why it's so crucial to raise your vibration energetically, because a low vibing shit has a harder time to attach itself and to bring itself into your life. And it is because of that energetic connection. That is your energetic protection. So, this mock gift may seem like you're stealing gifts, but it literally has a catch. That everything that you bestow, so if you take those gifts in order to be greedy and selfish, everything that you put out, everything that you that you bestow upon the world or people is going to be basically mirrored back to you. Okay? Not only are these other people are going to be blessed, not only are these other people going to be protected, but you're also going to receive whatever you give. Okay? So you're literally basically going out, buying a gun to shoot somebody, and then shooting yourself in the foot like a dumbass. So it kind of sucks to be you, if you're resonating with, you know, stealing gifts from people when you can actually do the work and get your own. Like, go get your own damn sandwich. Okay? So you have these gifts, they're showing up, okay? They're presenting themselves to you. All right? And you're having a hard time understanding them. This is where you got to take your rose-colored glasses off and see it for what it is. The divine is very miraculous in the way that it shows you and the way that it teaches you. If you still your mind out of the distractions of every day enough to be in that moment of magic, to be in that moment of existence, and to be in that moment of intention and mindfulness. There's even when you're an exercise that I like to do when I'm in having a spiritual bath, and I will submerge everything under the water up to the point where the only thing that's out of the water is my nose and my mouth to be able to breathe. Okay, but otherwise my ears are under the water and most of my body is under the water. You could literally hear your heartbeat within that. That is within your heart space. That is within that energetic pulse of your life. Within that pulse, and this is what brought me back from the darkest pits of hell, from abuse, okay, and got me back on top of what I need to be focusing on, is going back to my heart space and realizing without my heart space, I wouldn't be in that bath. I wouldn't be having this experience. I wouldn't be going through these miraculous experiences. I wouldn't have been brought to death and back again multiple times. Okay? I wouldn't have had all these different magical experiences that really showed the divine to me. That validated that, you know what, no, guess what, Aiden, you're not crazy. You are actually experiencing this, and yeah, guess what, it is happening. So if this is resonating with you, and there's something here that I'm saying that is resonating with something deep within you, chances are it is a confirmation. I'm not here to tell you whether or not you do or not. I'm here to confirm that yes, in fact you do. You do have access to these gifts. You do have access to these possibilities. Okay? And it's not a bunch of woohoo bullshit. Okay? This woohoo bullshit that some of you are talking about, okay? It saved my life. Had it not been for this woohoo bullshit, I would not be where I am right now. So yes, the potential and possibility is there. But just because you have or you don't have the ability to think or to be in touch with or to be sensitive enough to acknowledge those gifts doesn't make you any worse or better or worse than anyone else. It's just who you are. I don't know whether or not to take that as a compliment or not there, Wolf. But I'm definitely not one to be played with. It's odd. I went from like 30 people down to 7 now to 5. Well, that's why I come out with only my own opinion. Because it's only my own opinion. I can only share my own experience. No, smoking cigarettes. My friend there, Juanita, she's like, "Hello, Aiden. I think a good topic of discussion would be to find out what type of spiritual gifts that people have that they're not aware of, and to give them insight into finding out more of how to use those gifts in a proper way so that they can get a better understanding of what not to do and what to know that when people have gifts that are scared, they need to know that how to use them in the right manner and not to abuse them. So I'm going to touch on that a little bit. There's been people throughout history that have been scared of their gifts and they block out their gifts, and then they go to have children, and then the children receive all the downloads because the parents decide, no, fuck that. I don't want it. I am too scared. I don't want to know the truth. I just want to go about my life. So the kids that they have, because they block it out, are more intuitive going forward due to this situation. All because the fact that it compounds. The gifts get stronger. Okay? Especially if you suppress it. So if you have like 3 or 4, maybe 5 generations of people that have suppressed their gift because they're scared of it, and then you get into quite possibly an indigo or a star seed or something that comes in through that particular karmic entity of family, okay, and they are more in tune with spirituality, they are going to receive all those downloads. They are going to receive that hereditary blessing from their ancestors. There's nothing wrong with that at all, random. There's nothing wrong with that at all. You want to live a simple life? That's fine. You live a simple life. But there's so much more to life than just being simple. We don't look down on other animals for being simple like a dog, but man is expected to do so much. It's taxing. Yeah. Well, even dogs. There's working dogs. There's working dogs that are smarter than some people when you really look at it. I would trust some dogs over people. Hands down. Not even a question. I would trust a dog more than I would trust a person sometimes, depending on the situation. Yeah, it's a real shame. People think that that nature's just here to use and abuse and whatever. It's all to be put into balance and to be kept into balance. And we are the caretakers of Earth. So this is where being a simple caretaker of Earth is one thing. You know, having mindfulness, moving forward with some sort of peaceful intention. But to find out how to use those gifts, it's about exploration. It's about trusting that the gifts that are given to you, okay, are usually by the divine. Okay? And you would only want to focus on any type of gifts given to you by the divine. Okay? The whole reason why I've been on this healing kick and that you need to be focused on your inner work and inner shadows is because it's better when you connecting to your gifts that your shadows have been taken care of, that your shadows have been dealt with. Because your shadows bring the balance to the light. Okay? And your light shines on the darkness. It shines on the darkness that creates those shadows. Having a balance within your heart space allows you to have balance connection with the divine. You're more able to receive downloads, information, inspirations, and your heart, your head and your heart isn't clouded by trauma. This is why it's so predominantly important to heal. Otherwise, your shadows will come through and infiltrate and instigate these gifts in a negative way. The unconditional love that you feel from the divine once you're connected is very healing. It's almost instantaneous. And it's almost like there's a feeling of melting away of all insecurities, of all the misunderstandings. It's about being honest with yourself. It's about being truthful with yourself. And it comes back to my last live about how you're wanting to show up with your mindfulness and intention. Has a lot to do with it. people that are scared of their gifts, they shouldn't be. Because the divine wouldn't give you a gift that you wouldn't be ready for. I can very well go into depth on many different areas of gifts, of downloads, of information. But once you heal and once you get to that connection with the divine, you get these downloads. You get them at the time and necessity that you receive them. Like the divine isn't going to give you something and not give you something to work with, to learn from. Sometimes that might be a thought come over your mind. Is spirit speaking to you? What are they asking of you? I remember this one time I was at the bus stop waiting for the bus. And this other dude, roughly about my age, he was distraught. I could feel the energy off of him. He was ready to burst. And I asked him if he was okay. He's like, oh, I'm just going through a lot. And he proceeded to tell me that he just lost his grandmother, which I had lost my grandmother, so I could relate. His grandfather was in the hospital, and his parents went away on a vacation and didn't come back. I guess the plane went down somehow. And then due to the stress, him and his girlfriend broke up. And he was basically standing there alone, having to deal with everything. He was an only child, having to deal with everything. And just by me being there and saying, you know what, dude, I see you. I'm validating you for who you are. I'm validating that you're going through this. You're not alone. The divine works in very mysterious ways. The divine will put you in alignment with certain people that need your perspective. They need your medicine. Something that you are good at. And you will know within yourself, deep down, that there's a divine purpose for you meeting this particular person. Whether it is to learn a certain lesson from them, learn a certain modality, maybe perspective, whatever the case may be. And when you don't, and when you choose not to receive it, it creates a stagnance. So this is why it's very particularly important to understand what is going on in your reality. To take a step back and see it from the full perspective. And even as it comes in increments, Juanita, they are overwhelming. Because it's a fact of, holy shit, this is actually happening. This is actually real. It's always been real. It's just whether or not you want to bring that into your reality or not. Now, I would have come on earlier, but I was watching one of my favorite readers, and she was going on saying something about You know, when you're a nice person, you don't really have to worry because you're basically provided for. When you have good intention, when you work with mindfulness, and you know you're genuinely a nice person, the divine's got you. Spirit's got your back. Okay. But just because you're a nice person, just because you have gifts, just because you know you have some sort of a purpose and intention, yeah, spirit does have you. Spirit does protect you. But there's still haters. There's still people out there that are jealous when they should be ashamed of themselves. Because had they focused on themselves rather than other people, they'd have their own gifts to contend with. But no, they gotta go to try to sabotage other people and fuck up their third eye so they can't see things. Which doesn't work, by the way. All the black magic been thrown at me, it's all been sent back to sender. The candles that I light are for light and memorandum and in honor of my ancestors. Those are the candles I light. To allow their inner light to continue burning bright. That's why I light candles. It's not to send evil magic, and it's not to send shit spells to people. Because I don't need to do that. Not when you're protected by the divine. I don't have to lift a bloody finger if I don't want to. So all the people out there that want my gifts, that are envious of my gifts, they'd rather I just shut up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That's the truth. The months and months and months and months and months of my ex's mother screaming in my head. How about his ex Anton that committed suicide, wanting justice? How about the months and months and months of nightmares? He wouldn't let me sleep. When you go to close your eyes and you see a dead, decomposing body coming at you, screaming at you, saying, "Help me, help me, help me," and he won't leave you alone. Do you really want gifts like that? Hmm? The ones that are envious? Do you really want gifts like that? How about having prophetic dreams? You go to sleep, you're laying there all peaceful, and all of a sudden you get knocked into some sort of a prophetic dream, and then you dream that, you wake up, and then you're watching it on the news. And these dreams that you're viewing are people's lives being shredded apart, people's existence being absolutely blown to smithereens. Do you really want those types of gifts? Where it's uncontrollable? Is this the ones that scare you? Showing you things that you don't necessarily want to see, but it's better for your understanding? It keeps you humble? Keeps you in your lane? This is why it's so particularly important to heal. So that way the gifts that you do receive, you're better able to receive them. And you're more in balance and in alignment to take that information and make use of that. Some of us, we've been through trials and tribulations our whole life. Some of us are finding out after all this time that we quite possibly could be earth angels. We could be chosen ones. Due to the certain interactions in our life, due to the certain situations that have happened. It comes back to Jesus. He was an ascended master. He was in connection with the divine. People say that he was a son of God, but so are we. We are the sons and daughters of God. We are the image of God within human form, just as Jesus was. Worshipping Jesus is like worshipping our brother or sister. And this isn't to denounce him. This isn't to, it isn't to denounce how reverent Jesus is. Okay, this isn't to denounce him of his godliness. This is to open up the fact that we all have that pathway to the divine, just like Jesus does. We all have that pathway. But we need to step into that role. We need to step into that reality. And we can't do that in a slave mentality. We can't do that in a puppet mentality. We can't do that in a current societal aspect of ourselves. It's one thing to be Christian, and it's another thing to be Christ-like and walk the footsteps that Christ walked. Walk the journey, take the journey that Christ took. That's not stated in any Bible. It's not stated in any book. It is the journey of the heart space. It is the journey of unconditional love. It is the journey of compassion and forgiveness and respect and integrity. And we all have that option to walk that path. It's to whether or not we want to take that path or not. The divine light is there and waiting and ready to connect with you. But you need to connect to it with good intention. Otherwise, it will put you in your place. It will stick you back in your own lane. Now, what type of spiritual gifts? What are there? Well, you can see things in your mind's eye. And this has a lot to do with our imagination, our creativity. It has a lot to do with the ability to utilize our mind to create and manifest. It's all through the same instrument. It's all through the same machine. And yes, we are all magicians. We all have the ability to manifest the realities that we want. It's part of having a consciousness. It's part of having a mind. It's part of having an imagination and the ability to be inspired and creative. Okay, we grow up into adults and we're told that our imagination means nothing. Oh, it's just part of your imagination. And our imagination is relatively discredited because it's just an imagination. But it's been given to us in order to view and understand. People are telling us a story. We have our imagination to paint a picture within our mind to provide a understanding of what they are talking about. To have the ability to put ourselves in the same shoes that they are in order to relate. That same ability is to create an ability to project into the universe of what you are looking for in your life and the ability to have and to manifest your reality. You must first know and see within your mind's eye of what you are looking at and what you want. You need to feel yourself as already to have it, to the point where you can taste it, you can smell it, you can see it, you can feel it within yourself that you already have it. And hold on to that. It comes back to the being in the same frequency in order to receive that. If you're bitter, if you're heartbroken, if you're angry, if you're sad, you're not in the vibration of love because you're not dealing with your shit. As soon as you deal with your shit, you start vibrating higher at a higher frequency. You start moving into the frequency of love and understanding and perspective. Welcome in, Phoenix. But you cannot receive that love unless you are resonating at that frequency. So people out there that are saying, oh, I'm always picking up these assholes. I'm always picking up these jerks. And you want to know why? Because you're going to pick them up with dirty hands. Because you haven't dealt with your own shit yet. That you need to look at, that you need to get beyond. You need to work through first. It's not something you can put under the rug. It's something you need to deal with head on. Because until you deal with that, you're going to continue to attract that same vibration into your life. So you need to remove yourself from that negative vibration. You need to detoxify yourself. You need to evaluate and recalibrate your brain so that way you're not there anymore. And then work towards the frequency of love. Having a better understanding, a healed heart. That can then be in alignment with your spirit, with your soul. It can be in alignment with who you are. And thus you can create a frequency to welcome and attract that love in. Sometimes we have these experiences to help us prepare and help us be there to and to be available for others. It might not make sense at the beginning, but to have this message come through, as detrimental as it is, there's reasons for it. Sometimes it's the fact, life and death is, we're meant to look at it like we only have one life. It's not the case. Our spirit and our soul continues on after our life. This is just strictly a meat suit. Our soul goes back to source, and then it comes back when it's ready to learn something new. We come back into existence. We've forgotten why we're here. It's part of the journey. We go through the journey of remembering and going through the lessons and experiences that we chose before we got here. Whether we're in a loving family or a karmic family. Usually if it's a karmic family, it's because you're dealing with previous karma from another life. Okay, I did something wrong. I'll take that up in my next life. I'll take my lashings and I'll get on with it. This is why we sometimes come into a life and all we get is absolute devastation. Because our soul, our spirit has not learned that quite yet, and it needs to go through that in order to elevate, in order to be humble. So it comes back to the whether or not the things that go on in our life actually happen for us or happen to us. It's a little bit of both. It's the ability to understand that what we're going to learn in this position is to help us to relate to other people, and vice versa. Other people are going to be able to relate to us and to know that, you know what, they've been through the same shit. Okay, well, I'm not alone anymore. Good or bad, there's a lesson. Good or bad, there's a blessing, despite it all. You just got to dig deep enough to find it. This doesn't give excuse to the perpetrators of the abuse. You know, the deeds shouldn't have happened to begin with. But usually when hurt people, it's because they've been hurt by other people. It's been this absolute snowball effect down through the generations. And it doesn't seem like it's stopping. It's just becoming this big, huge steam train that's steamrolling everything. And it's a real shame, because if we actually knew our full potential of what we are actually capable of, this world would be in such a better place. Be the change you'd like to see in the world. It starts with us, it starts within every single one of us. It's the awakening, it's the realization that we've been duped. It's the realization that, no, you know what, there is something special, more special about us than what we actually realize. And yeah, there are special divine gifts that are given to every single one of us in order to help us better understand the world around us. And if we choose not to partake in that, that's our own decision. But a lot of us has literally forgotten the magic. We've lost the ability to know what a miracle is actually all about. And it's usually a message or a blessing from the divine, letting you know that, you know what, yeah, you're on the right path. So this is your confirmation. Whether or not you have a gift or not, you do. Because if you're here, chances are you're in tune. There's something about you that is in tune with the divine, and there's something about you. Something about you that you've always questioned about yourself. Whether or not, is this actually real? Was that hunch real? Was that a vision? Was that a dream? Was that an actual encounter? Your spirit guides are all around you. Everybody has a spirit guide. But we spend most of our lives tuning it out, not listening. Because our overall ability to believe in that sort of thing is skewed by that stupid little box that society decides to put us into. It wants us to portray this or that as real, and wants us to portray this or that as fake. The big question is, what does it mean to you? And when are you going to validate it for yourself? When are you going to stand in conviction of it? When are you going to stand in the ability to know that, yeah, you know what, the divine's got me? We all have an intuition. We all have the ability to feel. We all have the ability to see. Whether that be in our 3D reality, whether that be in a 5D reality, whether that be in a spiritual reality. And whatever we choose to do with that intent and choose to do with that energy, to believe in that or not, is up to us. That's our own given choice. All these years, the biggest thing I had a hard time with is people taking me seriously. Thinking that there's no way that you would have a gift like that. And then I prove them wrong real quick. And then they're envious of it. And then they choose to try to take that gift away or think that I don't deserve that gift after all the trials and tribulations that I've been through, that I don't deserve to be in the position and to be on the throne that I have, that I've built myself. The problem is with other people when they're focusing on everyone else but themselves, chances are they don't want to look at themselves. And it's a real shame. Because if they chose themselves and stopped abandoning themselves, they would be able to look into their own gifts. They'd be able to look into the strength and the courage within themselves, find their inner warrior, and fight their own fucking demons. But instead, they'd rather call on demons and send them to other people because they're envious. It's a real sad fucking day when that has to happen. When the divine has to step in and shut people down for their ill intent. All because they're envious of somebody else's gifts. It's really sad. Well, when this type of thing happens, Juanita, what I would do is I would use that as a meditative state. Go back to that situation and how did you feel when that uneasy feeling? Try to describe it. Try to create a signature. Because Spirit's trying to tell you something. It's giving you a precursor, it's giving you a red flag to remember. It's giving you an experience in order to dissect that and get the fullest message out of that. It very well could be to show how a certain feeling represents and it's qualifying you. It's teaching you in that moment what that particular feeling feels like and why, and what is pertained to that particular feeling. And a lot of the times we can't put this into words. A lot of the times we can't express that in our vocabulary. You're talking about love here. We're talking about something that can't be spoken. It must be felt. It's the same aspect. With our intuition, with our heart space. And this is why, again, I keep coming back to the fact that it's very crucial in order to be in touch with your gifts and in order to be in touch with the divine, you need to have a clear and balanced heart space. There's definitely a lot of repenting that needs to happen. You literally need to be good with God before you can really connect and be of service to others. And I'll tell you, it's one of the literally the hardest journeys to go on in one's life. You think having a stressful job is stressful? Try having no choice but to look into your experience and learn from something. And have to validate it for yourself and not have any books to look into. And to have the courage to stand with what you know. Because 9 times out of 10, when you look at things and when you have certain situations happen, there's a pattern. There's a reason for that pattern. So that feeling that you received there, Juanita, when that feeling is quite possibly something that you need to remember for a future event. Now, I'm willing to take some questions. I think Juanita's got a good start on this with her experience. If there's any of the six of you that are looking to get any type of clarification on an experience that you've had, I can maybe shed some enlightenment. So I'm going to take a quick short break. I will be back in a moment. And feel free to think of your questions while we're waiting. All right, I'll be right back. I sure know how to clear a room. Well, that very well could have been one of your I don't know, center stage moments. Spirit's saying something along the lines of going through that experience is acknowledging that, yes, you have gifts. It's also acknowledging the fact that what impact we could make in someone else's life by having those gifts. Very well could be a moment of realization that it's better to tune in and trust the divine gift that has been given to you. Sometimes it shows us certain things that we'd rather not look at, that we'd rather not see. But being able to have clarity, to be able to be part of that, in order to be part of that frequency, there's integrity, there's truth, there's honesty, there's clarity there, whether we like it or not. And this is why dealing with your own previous situations is paramount, because then you're conditioning yourself and you're prepping yourself for these particular situations where you're receiving these downloads that might be a little bit more overwhelming than most. You're more able and mindfully prepared for these situations. Back when my first nephew was back when my first nephew was born, within 15-20 minutes of him being in my arms, I could see. I looked into the progression and I didn't see much. It was very, very short lived. And usually I can see into the future. It's kind of like going on a flight of the navigator in the little capsule, and it's just warp speed. But through possibilities, possible memories, possible equations, possible frequencies. And usually when there's not much, it usually means that their life is short-lived. And may he rest in peace. 2 weeks shy of his second birthday, he passed away. So he was only with us a very short time, and I was warned ahead of time. Because had I not been, I would have been absolutely devastated, and it literally would have ruined my life. But because I was more aware, it was definitely difficult to take in. But it prepared me. It allowed me to show up in a way that was still loving and unconditional love, and ability to teach, and an ability to be an uncle. But it also brought me the message that life is too short to be worried about negative, petty drama. Life is way too short to be thinking life that's not sacred, that it's just a joke, that it's just something to just experience without thinking on autopilot and show no accountability. When he passed away, I started to think about life a little bit more serious. I was very humbled by the ability to have life and to be able to live, to be able to breathe, to be able to see, to be able to experience. And I thought of it to be sacred. As devastating as it was to lose my nephew, he provided a message and a light that I needed to get to this point where I am right now, and to keep fighting and to keep going. Through the trials and tribulations of our life, it provides us the awareness and the understanding and the learning experiences if we welcome them into our life. But it's all in perspective on how we look at it. Are we looking at it as a victim? Are we looking at it as an observer? Are we looking at it as a warrior? Are we looking at it as a villain? Are we looking at it as, as somebody with envy or hate or disgust? Or are we looking at it as someone with love and compassion and forgiveness? How do we want to show up? We want to show up as a healed individual. We need to go through the work to be that healed individual in order to show up as one. We can't just sweep it under the rug and say, okay, I'm healed now. It's all water under the bridge. But all that water is now polluted with your bullshit that you didn't deal with, that you literally just let go of, that you're missing the lesson. You're missing the blessings that you just threw away because you didn't want to deal with it. You didn't want to look at it. You didn't want to see it for what it actually was. So you're losing out because you're choosing to swipe it under the rug. How is that helping anyone else, and how is that actually helping yourself to become the most purest version of yourself, the most authentic version of yourself? So we're sitting here at 85 minutes and 55 seconds. So I think I'm going to end this live there. Chances are I'll probably pop back on after I'm finished the smoke, and I will do some cards, maybe a collective read. People that don't want to deal with their shit, Juanita. Not necessarily pertaining to you per se, nothing personal. I'm just enlightening them that, it's, if they choose not to look at it, they're not going to learn anything. They're just going to lose out on the experience. We go through certain experiences to teach us a lesson, to teach us something. Sure, that's fine. But if we choose not to learn the lesson and we choose to continue to repeat the same bullshit over and over and over again, how is that really helping? Especially when people aren't taking accountability. I'm taking accountability. But other people aren't. And it's a real shame. So anyway, yeah. I hope this video served you. I don't know if anybody's got questions out of the three of you that's online here, four of you that's online. I'll stay online here for a couple more minutes if you got any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to end this live and I'm going to jump back on and I'll do some cards, maybe a collective and maybe a story time. Thank you, Anita. I tried to jam pack it all into one. It kind of worked out. And if anybody's got any questions they'd like to throw in the comments, feel free. And maybe I'll do a video on that later, answering questions. So thank you so much for being a part of this, and catch me in the next live. Be good to yourself.